NBA player props here on PrizePicks for February 28th, Wednesday. Before we get started, you guys take a look in the description below of this video. Hop into our premium Discord, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. It's where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. We also have other premium cappers in there as well. They post all their plays, research, and analysis. Super positive community in there. Just giving you guys a glimpse how we did yesterday. Also, we did cash on the two YouTube plays from yesterday. Evan Mobley first half fantasy score and Jalen Johnson over 42 fantasy score, both cash for us. So again, drop a like on this video if you tailed yesterday's video. Both of these plays did cash, but also in the premium Discord yesterday, we had a pretty insane day. These are all the plays that I gave yesterday. Shea Taco pair cashed. Or actually, let me see. We had Deshae Taco pair cash. We had John Collins, Jabari Smith play I gave the night before. Donovan Taco pair cashed. Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray pair that I gave the night before as well. And then the Andre Taco cashed as well. So I think total yesterday we cashed like 7 slips in plays that I gave in the Discord. So again, link in the description below for that. $9.30 per month, you guys. 31 cents per day. Super positive community. Come check it out. So again, I also want to mention for this video, obviously these are free plays. I'm not a gambling expert and this is not financial advice. These are simply just plays I'm personally looking at making, hopefully giving us some insight and analysis to make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one's pressing submit on those parlays other than yourself. But let's get right into it, you guys. 2 player props, 2 plays that I really like. Let's get into it. The first play is going to be right here on the board. It's going to be Scottie Barnes over 44.5 fantasy. For fantasy score purposes, I just can't stay away from Scottie Barnes. Not sure why. I think it's just because his defensive impact, right? There's like any given game, he can go for like 4-5 stocks, which obviously benefits us greatly in the fantasy score department. But we look at Scottie Barnes, if you're just looking quickly at his last 5, 32, 55, 44, 44, and 65.4. Coming off a 65.4 game here against Indiana. But for this matchup, obviously Dallas is coming off the second night of a back-to-back. But these spreads, right, in the over-unders, like, the sports books know, right? They bake this factor of Dallas. Luka playing 41 minutes last night. Kyrie playing 38 minutes last night. That gets baked into these lines, you guys. So, like, when I think people worry about these blowout risks, right? Dallas, they were getting blown out last night, kind of, against Cleveland. They came back in that game. They lost by that buzzer beater by Max Strus. But we look at the 3-point spread here. I'm expecting this game to be close. Toronto is 22-36, right? It's not like Dallas is playing Cleveland or Boston on the second night of a back-to-back. So I'm expecting this game to be close. It's also Luka's birthday. But quickly also, you take a look at Luka's game log this season on no rest. Like, he's played games of 40-plus minutes in 3 straight games with no rest. And a lot of these games have been super close. So I really like Scottie Barnes, though. I'm not talking about Luka. I like Scottie Barnes. We talk about Scottie Barnes, right, obviously, this season. At home, he averages more points, more rebounds, slightly less assists, more steals, and about the same amount of blocks. But his usage and his overall production goes up significantly when he plays at home, right? We look over on Outlier. Again, there's a link in the description below of this video. You get a 7-day free trial with Outlier, you guys. All right, so this is 2023, okay? Again, this is Outlier. Link in the description, 7-day free trial. This is 2023. Home games when Scottie Barnes, when he plays 34 minutes, right? Look at the hit rate. 14 of 19 games this season, when he plays 34 minutes, for 34 plus minutes at home, he has hit the over on this line. He's actually also, he faced Dallas earlier this season, and that was when the Raptors lineup was completely different, right? That's when they had Pascal, OG Anunoby, Dennis Schroeder was coming off the bench. That was when their lineup was completely different. And in that game, Scottie Barnes put up 14, 7, 4, and 2, 0 turnovers, had 59.3 fantasy points against Dallas. And I think it does play a role that Dallas, they do allow the 6th most total fantasy points to power forwards. Like, they've been getting cooked by power forwards all season long. They allow the 5th most total points per game to the power forward position. Steals right here, you can see 4th most steals to the power forward position. So it just presents a wonderful, in my opinion, opportunity for Scottie Barnes. I mean, we're talking about Scottie over the last 4 games, right? He sees 26.5% usage percentage, averaging 53.5 fantasy points and 1.5 fantasy points per minute for Scottie Barnes over his last 4 games. I think if you just take a look at Scottie Barnes' fantasy score game log this season, like I talked about at home, logging 34 minutes, but let's just take a look at his fantasy score game log this season, and really kind of since I believe Dennis Schroeder got traded, because that's when, Scottie Barnes was coming. He's kind of rotating in with Dennis Schroeder, sharing the floor with him quite a bit. And when Dennis Schroeder comes off the floor, Scottie Barnes, his production's been crazy. Like, really since I would say February 9th here. I mean, you can see these stat lines from Scottie Barnes: 48, 56, 32 in 30 minutes, 55, 44, 44, and 64.4. Right, and obviously this game here he only played 31 minutes. This game here he played 37, shot 8 for 13. I mean, didn't even shoot the ball a ton. Still finished with 44 fantasy. Had 2 stocks in that game, against the Hawks. But taking a look at this, like I talked about Scottie Barnes, we take a look we break this down over on RotoWire, players off the court. And we take Dennis Schroeder off the floor. Obviously, he is traded, so it's not like he's going to have any chance of being on the floor. And we do this like the last 30 days. Right, I mean, we can see here Scottie Barnes 48.6 fantasy points per 36 minutes, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. And then we come down here, Scottie Barnes, he averages 2.7 more rebounds and 3.9 more assists, 1.2 more steals, 1.8 more blocks. So I just think his overall usage goes up significantly. Actually, it doesn't go up too much, 0.5 over essentially the last 12 games with Dennis Schroeder off the floor. But nonetheless, he does average 16.4 more fantasy points and 0.4 more fantasy points per minute per 36 with Dennis Schroeder off the floor, and I really think that impacts him here. So I love this spot for Scottie Barnes. I think the only chance this misses, in my opinion, is if there's a blowout. At a 3-point spread, if there's a blowout here, there's nothing we can really do about it. Obviously, you have to take these types of things into consideration, but nonetheless, Scottie Barnes, just a fantasy monster, you guys. Over his last 5 games, 1.4 fantasy points per minute. Okay, he plays 35 minutes tonight. I'm gonna do the calculator on my phone for you guys real quick. I don't know math that quickly. 34 times 1.4. That puts him at 47.6 fantasy points if he plays 34 minutes based on his per 36 minute average, or fantasy points per minute average. So Scottie Barnes over 44.5 fantasy is the first play. That play took a little bit longer in explaining. The second play is going to be a first half PRA prop, and I'm looking at all the way down here. I like Rui Hachimura over 8.5 in the first half against the Clippers. Taking a look at this game, obviously it's a home game for the Clippers, but Lakers, going to be in their locker room, normal drive to the arena and things like that. Close spread, 3.5, 234.5 over under, and Hachimura is starting, right? He's been starting these last couple games. Vanderbilt, Christian Wood are out, so his minutes are pretty safe, specifically in the first half. We look at Rui Hachimura's game log this season, right, over on Outlier, over his last 10 first half. He's over this line in 6 of his last 6 and 7 of his last 10 games in the first half. But talking a little bit more over the course of the season, right, when he plays 13 plus minutes in the first half here, it's a pretty strong hit rate for Hachimura. I mean, when he plays 13 plus minutes off the bench or starting, obviously him starting makes his minutes a little bit safer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 of 21 games he's hit the over on this line, and actually 18 of 21 games he's had at least 8 PRA in the first half. He's actually faced the Clippers earlier this season and had 10 first half PRA in 16 minutes, 7, 2, and 1. But just like the low PRA line, we're talking about 8.5 PRA for Rui Hachimura in the first half. I mean, Terrence Mann's at 9. If Rui Hachimura is starting and playing 14 plus minutes, this line just seems a little too low. I mean, he's got the lowest PRA line of any player on the board. And we're talking about a player that is, seeing pretty decent volume in the first half. I mean, if you talk about this, he's taking 7, 8, 5, 11, 6, 10 field goal attempts in the first half. And has literally had 12, 16, 10. He's gotten over 10 PRA in 6 of his last 6 games, you guys, really since starting. When we look at other power forwards, which is what he's kind of playing, LeBron's playing a little bit more on the wing, although Rui, I would also consider maybe him playing the 3 as well. I mean, him and LeBron, similar in size, pretty interchangeable. But we look at forward players, first half PRA game log versus the Clippers. I mean, you can see the hit rate of players that are played 13 plus minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The only last player that didn't hit this was Jaden McDaniels, but you can see, you guys, this column here, the hit rate for this line for this type of player. So I like Hachimura a lot here, over 8.5 first half PRA. 2 YouTube plays for this video, guys. Drop a like on this video. Check out all the links in the description below, and as always, let's cash.